want to kind of as it's all good well being able to attack 3 times, but not if that attack is like non magical, non-elemental, just sword to the board, which is fine, I think, for most. But I think it just If only there was a Spitfire was still around, but it went off with Slicks, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I've now sorted out all my stuff, I think. So, if anyone would like to dive in with a recap, feel free. Unless there's more sorting out and logistics and chat at the top that we need to do.
I think so. I did the recap last time, so shotgun not doing.
I can give it a go.
RP the shit out of it.
You may need to patch up bits on what happened with Clive's hand because.
So you mean Cairn?
Oh yes, he's got a name now, hasn't
he? Great name choice, by the way.
Yeah. So we started the session with basically everybody was kind of licking their wounds after what happened the previous session. Slicks ran off into the night. Faust was picking up his golden pieces, and Tenos was trying to figure out what the fuck just happened, I think. And then all of a sudden, like everybody's vision went all foggy, and they ended up finding themselves out in like a bit of a ghost town part of the Hammer that we'd not been to before. There's lots of graves about, and I believe it was Lady Adira was waiting for us there. And that's where she announced that Tauchi is doing his thing, and we had the whole cutscene, which was awesome. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. So basically Tauchi was going off to reform the sword, and he wished us farewell, and along the lines of he couldn't do the job with us, but he wanted us to do well in our endeavors, kind of a thing. Then after finding about Tauchi leaving, Slicks goes, "All right, I'm off." Essentially, gives a bit of a farewell. I came up with some bullshit of I've got a more important job to do. That his mission was priority number 1. He needs to go off and do it, and didn't have time for playing adventurer, running around the city saving people. So he dipped out. And then Tenos and Faust were yapping about something, and then they were attacked by a horde of zombies. After a... sorry?
So we like mysteriously appeared in the...
It was like really misty, and there was
Lady
a
Adira
voice.
was there.
There was the Prixie. Oh, a little. Oh, God.
We don't know what it was, did we?
I think Rick said it was a Prixie.
Yeah, Rick said.
Oh, right.
The giggling purple round thing.
I thought it was a Nilbog initially. I was like that. No, not the fucking Nilbog.
Yeah, so Lady Adira was walking off, but she was talking to you kind of like in the distance. And then when she got so far away, you couldn't hear her anymore. I don't know if she was talking telepathically or not. As I was just too excited about what was happening, that I was going to jump in. So I wasn't really paying too much attention.
She was trying to put the importance of what we needed to do, focus on the main threat, and
Yes, that's right.
and
Basically, sort yourselves out,
Yeah.
figure out what your mission is, and do it. Kind of thing. Try and get you back on track of what we need to do, rather than fanning about.
not sure if that was Rick or Adira at that point.
And then, as the mist picked up, you heard a voice chanting in the nearby building. And then from the ground, hands kind of reached out, and then a horde of zombies kind of came out of the ground and surrounded you. You had a round of 2 of combat. I believe Faust was doing quite well in kind of stopping the zombies from actually, getting on you and overwhelming you with your line of fire that you put in a circle. Then to save the day, the heroic Wilfred the elf he just got to the scene. He was running, and he just got there, and he used his Toll of the Dead and just instantly wiped out all of the zombies.
Stole all of the XP, all the loot.
Yeah. And he introduced himself as he's a member of the Amsonville Watch, and he was sent to scout ahead to get a kind of idea about the city and what's going on. After talking with the team and proving his loyalty, I think there was some attempts of, what was it? You're like trying to suggestion him to basically spill the beans of what's actually going on, and you kind of found out he wasn't really lying, and he's just a new party member trying to join the group and play some D&D. So then we spent about 20 minutes trying to figure out what message I was going to send back to the watch. I went through like several iterations, and I kind of took all that and then made my own one that I sent to Rick, and I have a response to that.
Ooh.
Which I'll choose to share when it seems right. So after the introductions of Wilfred, we decided to. Wilfred wanted to go to the Square of the Gods to do some prep work with some secrets, magics that he didn't let anyone else in because he wants it to be a surprise. So he did that thing at the Gods. We found out that they're making a statue for Dovkin, which is pretty cool. I think Faust tried to do some. What did you prestidigitation? Something, didn't you? You made it so.
Change the engraving.
Yeah, like Dovkin the Betrayed or something like that. You know.
He was betrayed.
And I think Dovkin had something to tell Tenos when that happened. Something about him straying from the path. He needs to be kept an eye on.
I think
he might have
Rick's
spilled
drink,
something.
his drink might have gone everywhere.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Hello.
How bad is it, Holly?
I haven't got a clue what he's done, so I don't know.
Guinness all over the electricity.
Shitting all over the wall. Good job. Do you want anything else? Oh, good. Okay. Good luck.
So after the Square of the Gods, we went to the ladies. There was a bit of awkwardness, as we had just spoken to Lady Adira, and then we gone straight back to her. Then there was some more awkwardness between Faust and Buttercup, because they had like an awkward hug. And yeah, so Tenos asked if he could get the deal for Clive's hand to get a real body. At which point they ended up agreeing on the original deal, which was the polymorph wand, which he gave up. The other lady, what's her name again? Is it Delia? Dahlia?
Dahlia.
When she got the wand, she was like, "I'm gonna make him better again" or something. Like speaking to it as it was a person. Maybe it is. Who knows? Creepy ladies of the night, hey. So yeah, then Clive's hand kind of spoke with Sildar to get basically what he wanted across, which I think was basically big and strong. At which point, Charles was given the option of bringing a body, getting an unwilling participant, or using Faust's golem bits, which he ends up using the golem bits. And Clive's hand got a new body and a new name. Which what was it again?
Faust handed over the necklace, I believe.
Yes. What's Clive's hand's name again?
Ken.
Ken.
Cairn. Means pile of rock.
Oh, okay.
Well, not means, but it's those in Ireland or Scotland when you see these kind of almost like monoliths.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, the volcanic rock. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where we left it, I believe.
With Ken stating that his motivation was.
Father, I am Ken. I will make you proud.
Holy shit!
Did that work? Because I
Awesome.
couldn't hear that.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
That sounded like it reverberated around your entire hand.
Okay, good, because it cost 30 quid.
Are you using a different microphone?
So I'm using my regular Yeti, but it's going through voice mod. So it should sound normal right now until I press the button.
Yeah, it sounds normal. It's just the levels are slightly different.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Nice stuff out to me.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've found yourself with a new companion to replace Clive's hand, and I believe you were looking to have a meeting with Roche.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I believe we're going to go to the Hammer first?
I think the plan was hammer, see what the crack is with the sword, see if the lords are there.
I mean, no one posted that in the other chat for Rick. Rick said, "What's the plan?" I put a plan, which was to go see Roche, and then you all came with all different kinds of 5 different plans in the other chat. Never gave them to Rick. I was like, I assume you meant you're going to do this after we've done the Roche bit.
I think we proceed with Roche.
Rush is fine.
I'm very happy for you to go. I know everything that's happening in the city. It just depends on what order things are revealed and what things overtake other things. So I'm very happy for you guys to tell me what order you do things in.
It would make sense for Wilfred, definitely. Oh yeah, go on, Matty.
So if you plan to go to the hammer check on the sword, Does that mean you're not trusting Tauchi to do his job?
Well, Tauchi's just fucking stormed off.
No, he's gone to get all the sword bits and remake the sword.
Yeah, but as far as we're concerned, he's just stormed off. He's just
No.
stropped off.
But
That was
we
the
don't know
whole point
what.
of the cutscene.
Yeah, but the characters don't know that.
Everything
Yeah.
that was in the cutscene was written in his book that she showed to you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
your characters know everything that was in that cutscene.
We don't know what happened to Tauchi at the hammer, whether he has the swords and has gone, or got there and is like basically based on what happened in the tomb of Athelion. I'm basing off what Tanos would think. Last time we saw Tauchi get interact with one of those swords, he was sucked into it.
Yeah. Is the sword like in two pieces on the floor? Is it one? Is it with forge? What's going on? I think.
Yeah.
Because if you make an assumption that it's just like being built or reforged by Forge, and it is, happy days. If it's not, sad times.
Well, secure the swords either by going to Forge or the hammer or both.
Yeah.
It would make sense for Wilfred to want to see Rosh as he's his captain, and he's just arrived in the city where he is. So I get that as well. Depends on if he wants to, like I said, do that first because kind of teed it up nicely.
I'm happy. I'm happy with whichever. No problem.
Yeah.
But
If you did go to Forge, it would be confirming that Tauchi's had the sword, rather than going via the hammer. Depends on your proximity to the hammer, I guess. If it's easy to go through there, but
Well, we're right by the ladies, so we're right by Crudmore, whichever where Forge is.
So we came out of the ghosts, and then we walked past Square of the Gods, ladies, with a view of heading towards the hammer. That was where we were heading.
Currently at the ladies, right?
yeah,
Yes.
We're right by Crudmore, which is where Forge is. Could just go there.
so we could just go straight to Forge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than going to the hammer, then cracking back, going to Forge, you could just because that's where Tauchi said he was going to forge the hammer, the sword, not the hammer. God, there's too many tools.
Well,
So to confirm if he's done that, we can go to Forge. Because we also don't know how well. You don't know how much time has passed since you split up in the sewers because of all the foggy stuff that happened.
that is true.
So you don't know how long it's been since Tauchi left. So he could have gone to the hammer, got the sword, been to Forge the sword, and left. You know,
Yeah, I also, when you say that, I also realised that I didn't know where Forge was.
So
do you not remember when we went to the inn on the west gate where we went across the river, and on the night before you went next door to Forge's?
May, I've got like 40 lines of notes from the last session. If it's not written down, it's just gone.
Most of my knowledge is from like the first 10 sessions. Everything else, is like, I've got too much in my head that I can't remember what we did last week properly. Back remember what we did in the first session?
yeah,
Imagine how I feel.
Yeah, I'm just about to, I think this session I'll probably hit 1,200 lines of notes.
wow.
So, plan ponies.
Forge.
Okay. So,
Seen as the right here.
you guys leave the ladies. Ken in tow. Before you leave, Ken says,
Father, I am made of stone. I have this body, but I stand out. Do you wish me clothed?
So Thanos will look back towards the ladies in the kind of towards the back to Ken, and then they sort of gesture towards them like.
Well, he's not having any of my clothes, if that's what you mean.
I will Thanos will take off his cloak and give it to Ken until we can find some more appropriate attire.
So he's wearing a cloak. One thing you would know about Cairn is that, having seen him standing still, when he is standing completely still, he is indistinguishable from a statue, apart from his fleshy hand. So he'd have to hide that. But when moving around, he very much looks like a walking stone person.
How tall is he?
6'5", so he's not standout tall.
Okay.
And can he wear armor?
Would he need to?
He can wear armor, but he's not proficient in any armor.
Okay.
So he can
fine.
wear it as a kind of item of clothing, disguise type thing. And he's pretty strong and tough, so it wouldn't hinder him in terms of how far he can move, but it wouldn't have the effect of him being able to properly use it as armor.
I will converse with Sildar and say that gonna give you to Ken for now, just to help him blend in. Is that all right?
Fascinating. I imagine all that thought and the wisdom that's maintained in a hand and then transferred to stone. And well, yes, I feel some level of kinship with this thing. I don't know why, but yeah, he's very agreeable to that.
Have fun. Right, great. Pop him off. Hand the helm to Ken,
Okay.
so he can properly. The Tenos is without helm or cloak right now.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so unless there's anything else, let's bring you over to Forge. So very much as you guys remember, remind me who has been to see Forge previously. Tenos was there. Was Faust there as well?
Yeah, Faust was there.
So you see Forge hammering away, not paying you a huge amount of attention. What do you say as you guys rock up?
I think Tenos, you got him to make a load of shit for you, didn't he? Didn't you?
I did. I've been back a few times. I'll be just Forge. How are you keeping in these dark times?
I've done my duty. If it can be made, I must make it. And I have been busy. What brings you to
Busy. The Grand Master.
Ah, yes. I did tell him that I'd be seeing him again. And that I was sorry.
So are we. But we must continue what we started together.
Am I right in thinking you intend to take him with you?
The last time we saw him, he was retrieving the other blade. And we have a reason to believe he came to you after that.
There is now but one blade. And he gestures into the far corner of his forge, where hovering above what looks like next to the like coke and coal forge that he's got, it looks like a some sort of hot magic crucible, and it's giving off like sparks of energy and magic. And hovering above this is a fantastically long, thick onyx sword with much more clearly defined and crisper glowing glyphs than any incarnation of magic swords that you've seen before. And he gestures and he kind of twitches fingers, and it starts moving slowly towards you and then stops. It is but one. What makes you think that you are worthy of wielding it?
I'm not sure if it's about worthiness, it's about what needs to be done.
Are you willing to do what needs to be done?
We've come this far. Our friend and comrade has paid the ultimate sacrifice. Lots of our comrades have paid the ultimate sacrifice.
Not yet. Not yet. In time. It's not my duty to keep this from anyone, solely to make that which was unmade. It is up to fate to decide if you are worthy or not. And he kind of continues gesturing, and this sword hovers towards the group.
If anyone's worthy, it's probably going to be not Tenos, right?
It's got to be Tenos.
So I'm going to cast
Me.
guidance on Tenos, just to give him a little help.
Tenos will not actively go out and reach the blade because he's very aware of, not very aware, I think the history that Tauchi has shared with Tenos, looking at the book, is there a copy of Tauchi's book in the blacksmith that we can see?
Not immediately on site. You can ask Forge.
I'll ask him what of the Grandmaster, what of Tauchi, as we know him. Is he truly lost to the sword?
He is the sword. His mind, his soul, his very being running through it is what makes that sword that sword. The smaller pieces are coming together. They will join in their own good time. But he was the essence of the sword, the heart of the blade. And as I have done my task, soon he must do his.
With the sword, the glyphs on it, are they clearly glyphs, or is it a language that we're just not aware of?
Make me... What would it be? Make me a religion check. Or an insight check.
Okie dokie.
So, it's not something that it's not a language that you directly understand or can directly comprehend. But normally with this kind of thing, you can feel like you have access to this kind of knowledge from your patron. Like patron imbues you with a magic that is able to comprehend these languages, and that's the kind of thing that would normally happen. With a 23, you can understand from the feeling within yourself that not only can you not understand this, but the reason that you can't understand it is because your patron is not with you right now. Like not like bodily outside nearby, but also like your patron's like it seems to just not be present in this forge. It seems like when you came into this area, like it's like you stepped through something and left Faust's power. Sorry, left Mephistopheles' power on the other side of it, and he's not with you. And you're kind of aware that, like in the same way that when you're in an office after hours and the all the AC closes down and you realize you didn't realize you could hear it before, but then when it's gone, you think, oh, it's quiet now. Like you're suddenly aware of the lack of his whispers.
Okay. I think Faust would kind of go to, as like a little test, kind of go to create a coin and presumably fail miserably to do so, and just kind of turn and was like, he's gone. What? I'm just bewilderment, I think. Sorry, Jim. I think I cut you off a little while ago.
No, not at all.
Forge, give you an insight check.
Okay.
Yeah, you can spot that Forge is looking at you, and as you're kind of having this kind of weird, what's going on? Like he's, you can see that he's like looking at you, and he can tell that you're thinking something's different. I can't feel him. You get the feeling that he kind of knows what's going on with you. He's giving you a very knowing look, but he's not saying anything at the moment.
I think Faust would, spotting this, would say, "What's happened? What have you done?"
I have done nothing. Some people are intimidated by this place. Intimidated by the idea of what I do. Some people are scared to look upon such a visage. And as he says that, his eyes glow brighter. Some call me abnormal. But there are many who fear to come into this place near me.
Why would they fear this place?
Many people feel me unusual. I can make anything, and I must make anything. That is not a natural talent. And curses are scary things.
What curse do you speak of?
I am cursed that I can make anything, and I must make anything. Anything that is bidden of me, anything that must be made. I cannot refuse.
Okay.
Did you forge the original God Killer?
He will stare at you for a while. I wonder how much you understand of what you ask.
We understand very little. We ask many questions, but don't get many answers. And we don't pretend to know our part in all this, but this isn't a power we want to wield carelessly and stifling with gods and stories. It's a dangerous place.
I agree. But how you choose to wield this, I care little. It will have no bearing on me or the cycle of fate. One would hope that you would want to do justice to your companion and his part in the cycle.
Is Dawkins' ring doing anything in this?
If you're looking to kind of tap into Dawkins' soul and communicate with him, you get the feeling from Dorfkin that this place is unholy and is wholly evil. That Dorfkin would think that nothing that Forge says can be trusted because he is unholy.
Right. So Talos will hold his hand up towards the sword as it floats towards the group, not necessarily to touch it or grab it, but just to kind of feel any kind of glow or anything radiating from it.
As you get closer and you put your hand up, you feel just a weird sense of familiarity with this sword, as though in the same way that you would, a sword that had been hanging as an heirloom in your home, like above the main hall mantelpiece for years and years and years. That's kind of like, even though this is the first time you've ever seen it like this, you'd feel like you know this blade, you know this weapon. You get that sense that, yeah, you know it.
Is it potential? Is it in a scale that is wieldable, or is it still very much this kind of object that we?
It's technically wieldable. I mean, think of what is it? Is it is it
like a Final Fantasy giant sword type thing?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Think
the Cloud
kind of
Buster.
the scale of Buster Sword.
Yeah.
So if you were really beefy, you could get like a swing of it. So it wouldn't be practical to use, if goblins showed up. You could, but it wouldn't be as effective as your other things.
I mean,
it definitely feels like this was made for a very specific purpose.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to ask Forge how do we use it?
Use it how you wish. As I said, I care little. If you're wishing to recreate the stories of old, though, pierce it through the heart or the eye of the walking mountain god.
By God, you mean his brother?
You know your stories well.
Stories or fairy tales?
Does one stop the other being true?
I guess not.
Some would call me a fairy tale.
Would they call you a trickster?
Get out of this place. Now. He grows. He is now 8 foot tall.
Whoops.
Wow.
I think we should leave. He looks pretty scary.
You
But-
little nudgel.
Tenos,
Just for reference.
Tenos. Yeah. Okay, fine. Tenos does not leave. The others are welcome to leave.
Wilfred leaves. Considering this feels like an evil and holy place, considering he's a cleric, I think him getting like that kind of would give him a bit of a ick, and he would decide to leave. But he'd stand outside the door, be looking in to help out if something does go bad. But he doesn't be in the presence of Forge, boiling over.
Faust?
I think Faust wouldn't want to leave Tenos be. I think he'd be very clearly behind Tenos, ready to follow his lead. However, as a general rule of thumb, I think somebody whose like purpose in life is to make swords that can kill gods and can grow 2 feet at a whim is probably not someone to start a fight with.
Tenos will reply with that that growing spur. I only wanted the truth. And if need be, I'll take... Oh god.
There you go.
That's it. I only wanted the truth, and I'll take our old companion with us. If it causes you offense.
Father, I will protect you if you need protecting.
It's fine, Ken. We have, I think, accomplished what we wanted to.
The eyes that were glowing are now visibly aflame as he continues to kind of not only get taller but more muscular, and his skin becomes more unnaturally red.
But you
I think-
guys
I
should
have given you
leave.
the truth. Our business is done. Take your friend. Never come back here again. The circle of fate must continue.
Sounds like a plan.
As you wish. And I'll go to take the sword.
Now leave and never come back.
Oh. I think Faust would take the opportunity to seeing that he's turned into something he's a bit more familiar with. A giant red demony, tieflingy bad guy. His people. He'd say, so I've got an amulet, which I took from Dorfkin's corpse some time ago. I think I'd say Radiant Aegis. I think it was. I've got it here.
Just don't remember. Oh, yes.
I think it's you must forge what needs to be forged. What may be forged from this? Just kind of ignoring the fact that he's getting really big and scary. Just try and diffuse the situation.
He holds out his hand, and you see that this thing is gone from your hand and appears in his. And he looks at it, and he crushes it in his hand. And you see that this is not just like bent, like he is grinding this in his hand to a fine powder. And then he blows the powder, and it floats through the air and lands on the ring. And seems to be absorbed by the ring.
Okay.
And yeah, he doesn't look any less annoyed, but he turns to all of you and repeats again.
Leave this place and never return. Cease your tasking of me. I've done my duty. Now you go off and do whatever it is you think is your duty.
I think Faust would go to leave, and then just about to leave, would kind of turn and say, if your duty were to end, what may you do then?
There is no end. It all repeats. I do wish you knew better. The cycle will always continue. Now get out.
Fair enough. Yeah, Faust would leave.
Is Tenos leaving?
Yeah, Tennis will tuck the sword under his arm, like a surfboard. And
I tried to leave, the tornado just popped up.
Oh shit!
For clarity, you had 4.36 seconds left to say yes. I was running to 7.5 minutes.
wow.
Yeah, you had less than 5 seconds, and then there would have been an encounter. I didn't think that there would have been, but yeah, if you are leaving, you are very free to leave.
Yeah. So I say farewell with the sword under my arm and leave with Ken.
You do this thing, and which means that goes whoop. You now have keep track of who is carrying this. This is a sword that, as it is on the scale of kind of Buster Sword, so like we're talking 6 foot blade and hilt together. So keep track of who is carrying that, because you never know when that might be important.
So I need to find a way of concealing it.
I mean, what about Ken carrying it? Seems like a sensible idea, right? If he's the biggest member of the group, strongest member of the group, presumably.
Kenos is the biggest member of the group, technically.
Okay. Are we measuring cloaca now?
Oh yeah. Well, either way, Ken can carry it. I think we just need to wrap it up, like Tauchi did before. It was wrapped up on his back.
How much have you guys filled in the newest member of your party as to what exactly is going on here.
Um,
Are we taking it that you have told Wilfred the whole story?
not before picking up the god killer. Probably the bit left out the bit about the god.
Little bit freaked out about what just happened.
So as far
Wasn't
as
expecting.
as far as the cleric
this-
is concerned, you've just essentially done some kind of trade with what looks very devilly.
Yeah.
So, I think we're not necessarily going to stay out in the open, right? It'd be good to like maybe skulk into an alley or just kind of tuck away from any watching eyes and just as Tanos looks for a bag or a cloth or a shroud or something, just maybe fill Wilfred in on, you know, maybe start with the folk tale of the old gods and the father and the trickster, and say actually, you know what, Athelian is most definitely coming here. He most definitely is a god, and this is probably our best chance of killing him. Don't worry about the details.
As I say,
Wow.
so if you want to kind of say we tell him everything end to end, we'll just assume that that's done. We don't need to play that out. But if there are specific things if you're keeping it very high level, that's fine. If there are specific things you're leaving out, also that's fine. But yeah, you tell me how much of the story you are telling.
I would keep it. I'll keep it high level, but I would say that Tanos is, you know, after visiting the Square of the Goth with Wilfred, say that if it's of interest, Ilmater had zero effect when we were in the tomb of Athelion, when we were originally retrieving the sword.
Zero effect? Is it their magic?
As in, Ilmater
Or
refused
just
to
this?
help.
Or that he couldn't help?
He didn't
I'm
help.
I'm no expert on the gods.
I mean, I'm assuming, being a cleric, I'd probably be aware if there's times where the gods are uncontactable due to certain domains or certain area effects. Maybe a domain of one god maybe can't be infiltrated by another.
Essentially, this quest will take you to places where your gods will not go.
Yeah, so
Pretty
you,
Well, I'm not.
you would have an understanding that the pantheon of gods and the way that they kind of act and kind of bestow abilities and powers on people and how they communicate with the people they communicate with, you'd have kind of an understanding that they act very much like the kind of the Viking pantheon of gods, where kind of they are imperfect and some gods are scared of other gods, some gods really hate other gods, some gods get on well with other gods, but there is that kind of level of contact and interaction that can happen between those gods.
Yeah. Well, you make it aware that he does not follow a particular god. He is not. He doesn't worship any of the gods. It's just the fact that his activities are in line with certain gods' favors, so he gains their blessing that way. His actions rather than his faith.
Fair enough.
So he's not wholly reliant on the gods, but they do give him a good bit of power.
Yeah,
It's like to use.
talking about Ilmater and Dorfkin, I think Faust would pipe up and say that we're all just at the whim of the gods. They have the power, and they choose to ignore to help those that need it most. We're little more than play pieces in their games.
I mean,
Tanos will
it's
say
not entirely true.
they're not
Sorry, go on.
they're not the only ones with power and the kind of hold the sword aloft.
He has the power.
Not. Yeah, exactly. Not. Again, he would attempt to hold it as if he knows, as using his martial prowess, how he knows how to handle a sword, but is clearly unfamiliar with what to do with this, other than being a blunt. He knows how to use blunt objects and not so blunt objects, but this is obviously very different. Does anyone have a shroud, cloth, old cloak I could use?
Fortunately, not.
You had about 15 cloaks at one point, did you not? Were you not collecting them along with body
Oh,
parts?
they've my I yeah, my old cloak I gave to Tauchi, which is what the sword was wrapped in. And then I stole Rykov's cloak, and then that got that got covered in blood or something, and then Six gave me his cloak, and now I've given my cloak to Ken. So Tenos multi cloak is
Oh,
not
hang on.
is
So Slix's cloak is on
Ken.
Ken.
It's a broken
The
oak cloak.
invisibility cloak thing.
No.
No,
Slick
his
set
old one.
his old one. His starter cloak.
Starter cloak. It seems sensible. I mean, having the cloak, so having the sword wrapped up. I mean, like a 6'5" giant stone golem is still fairly conspicuous. There's only so much a cloak can do to help that. Whereas if you can cover the sword in its entirety instead.
Okay. Plan B is where's the tavern that burnt down where Brian is, or the corpse of Brian?
That was the golden thing, wasn't it?
Are we overthinking this? Presumably, Forge. So in Crudsmore, presumably there are shops of some descriptions in the area. Would there be some haberdashery, something of that
Yeah,
nature?
a roll of fabric could just wrap it up.
Okay, fair enough. Tennis will just keep hold of the sword then until we can find a local artisan.
There's probably somewhere across the street.
I don't think we need an
Yeah,
artisan
shop.
roll of cloth. Just
Yeah.
just random bolts.
Do you know the significance
Yeah.
of what's being carried?
Are you looking to make a legitimate purchase, or are you looking to steal some cloth?
Tenos will hide out of sight with the sword and give Wilfred 1 gold piece to go get some cloth.
Like a little errand boy.
Wilfred and Fountain.
Come on, buddy.
Don't spend it all at once. I'll look after the god killer. Me and Ken.
So as a so the two of you are okay, it's very easy for you to go and legitimately purchase a length of cloth, whether it be some curtains or a large person's cloak, or some sack. If you're legitimately purchasing it, that's fine. You guys can go and buy that. I would like, while you're doing this, actually, yeah, if you're hiding, Dolphkin, if you'd like to make me a stealth check, please.
You mean Tenos?
Sorry, Tenos. Sorry, stealth check. All
The
your
other-
dragons all look the same.
Oh.
Oh,
So Dorfkin's actually taken over your spirit. It started with the ring, then the amulets joined.
And I get to add a modifier to that, but I don't think it's worth really.
That's
I mean, if you're still under the effect of guidance, you get a D4.
1d4.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Definitely going to happen. That.
If we're going down that route, I might as well add the other shit I can add. Hold on.
Well, see if you can get up to 5, maybe.
I would.
Okay. 1 second.
Could you use your inspiration?
I could use my inspiration, to be fair, but sorry, I do get to add. Remarkable athlete. I can add half your proficiency bonus rounded up to any strength, dex, or con check. So half my proficiency bonus.
2.
2, isn't it?
So I get that's 3 and then 5.
Proficiency is 4, so half of 2.
So 5 is my health.
Okay. Good. Yeah, so you're able to do this, and you return back, and as you do, as you kind of regroup, you come across Joycey, Joycey the Fix, who comes to you and says, "Oh, boys, I heard the old Slicksy had slick stuff off to do. Something separate from you lot. Just wanted to see if there's anything else. You guys need someone. Meeting with everyone. Stuff like that. Getting from here to there. A bit of intel. What do you need?"
Do you know where Captain Rosh is?
Do I know where Rosh is? Who don't I know where he is? I like to cut your jib, boy. You part of the crew, are you now?
Yeah, it seems so. Yeah, kind of just happened.
Good to hear it. Well, people don't seem to last very long in this group anymore, so I hope you survive. Anyway, I'll go and see what I can sort out with old Roshy boy. Don't you move a muscle. I'll be right back.
Whoa. My good friend. I don't suppose you know if we still have the black spot, do I know?
Well, what I heard is that you've been knocking off assassins left and right, so I'd assume that that debt was all paid. But you know, if you keep killing here and killing there, knocking people off, sooner or later someone's going to take out another fucking contract on you, ain't they? Oh, I heard as well. You're not in. You're on the radar of the fucking guild of musicians and that lot as well. They've got a pretty dicey person working for them, so I wouldn't do any more licensed entertainment, if you know what I mean.
Wilfred's just giving the group kind of like a side eye, like, what the fuck have you guys been doing?
It's a simple misunderstanding. It's fine. It's all squared up now.
Well, hopefully I can keep these guys on track.
Hey, it's all part of the course.
So after a short time, Joycey comes back, and he directs you towards a kind of what looks like a kind of unofficial tavern. Like, it kind of looks like someone's house that is serving drinks. There's not very many people in there at all, but you can see Rosh along with a couple of other people, and I will.
I wonder if I'm planning to see Cassandra again. Oh.
Raquel.
The other leader of the Val kind of left behind and took Grom, and we never saw her again.
Can you just? I think it's safe to assume that the sword is wrapped up and on Tenos' back at this point, with the newly bought cloth and the 5 meters of hempen rope.
Okay.
5 foot.
So we have him, and we have.
Well, the good thing about having all these new characters, we come with a fresh bolt of hempen rope.
I still had 5 foot left, and I've still got the metal chain. I've got a lot of shit, just no cloth.
And so we have Ken, we have Wolf, we have Faust, we have Tenos. So yeah, you can see. Why does he not have a name? So you can see Rosh in here with a number of other people. They all look fairly shifty, but they all have one thing in common, and that is some distinctive blue, like bright blue, like face paint markings on them. So Rosh is sitting drinking, and he looks like he's expecting you, and he puts down his drink. He gets up. They all sound the same, don't they? I was told that you would come back here, to all of you. But he goes up to Wilfred in particular and extends an arm out.
He grabs the arm and does like a full-on predator handshake. Full clasp of the arm. And he hands him a note with the seal of the watch, and says, "Good to see you, good old Rosh. Here are the orders that I have, and the current situation with the army that has been approaching the Hammer."
He takes it and kind of gestures to you all to come and take a seat with him. He has a quick read through the letter and gives you a full nod. And good to see you. And as he sits down, the other three kind of look at you semi-approvingly. One of them in particular, who has overheard this, the dwarf called Mogram, says, "Don't you worry about that army. It's all fine. Them idiots along the wall. We've got a plan. We're gonna take them out. Make it nice and easy. No little bloodshed as possible. We'll sort them out." And Rosh just kind of goes, "Quiet. You have a loose tongue, Mogram. So, what do you wish to discuss?"
Well, first of all, there's been an update since that note was written. I contacted the army with my magics, basically saying the current state of affairs here, and their reply was they're going to encamp outside the walls, no siege until we see a signal, or until, if we are attacked, we will advance. We'll arrive in just over half a day. That was a few hours ago I received that message.
Let us hope they do not see any signal that is misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And as he's kind of talking to you guys, the elf of the party puts her kind of fingers to her temple and whispers something to Rosh. And Rosh turns and says, "There is someone coming to meet. The timing would appear excellent. It seems they wish to help in this endeavor, and I believe, given their resources, they might be useful to join your crew." And behind you, sachets in someone. Who sachets in?
Yay.
I've heard much about you. Let me introduce myself. I am Lord Richter Van Winkle. I am charged with being a lord of these lands, specifically of the Hammer, and as Ross mentioned, my resources, I hope, can prove useful to the fight for what is right within the Hammer. My studies often see me missing what is going on a daily basis, and sometimes I'm caught by surprise by large changes within our fair city. But this these foul actions and everything that's been going on, it's been going on too long. I myself have been very affected by recent events. I found myself losing periods of time, and even found myself in confusion about where I am, what I've been doing for periods, and sometimes even finding myself in different places. Not that unusual.
Been on the booze.
I have been known to partake in the occasional imbibement, but this matter happens at all times. I'd like to get to the bottom of it, and my my particular set of skills has led me to your ragtag group.
That's one way of putting it. I've joined these guys like a few hours ago. We've already met a bloody devil and got a weird sword.
Devils, dragons, we have it all in the Hammer.
Yeah, sad to see that.
Oh my gosh, it's Moctavio. It's Moctavio's twin.
Thought that token looked familiar. Ignore that. We'll find another token. I just needed something in there to remind me that you were in the room.
I can fill in the sheet in a minute. So, now that I have introduced myself and you know who I am, do you care to introduce yourself?
What does the party see in this person? Just give us a physical description of what they see.
They see an older wizardly fellow, very finely dressed. Not in a typical fine. Wizards tend to be well adorned, but this is fine dress that he has, in keeping with someone of a lordly status. You would see it within his clothing. He's well manicured. He still has a wizard's long beard, but it's manicured, unlike a very rough and rugged wizard. He is not currently wearing a wizard's hat, because it's not in keeping with the fashions of the land, and being a lord, he does have some pressure to be in keeping. He is quite friendly looking, almost a bit Santa-esque, but hard to define as he is. He's someone that, although he has a white beard, he doesn't necessarily look old. But then, He doesn't seem young.
Tenos will say, nice to meet you. Pop quiz. Pull out one of the beholder stalks with an eye and say, "What's this?"
That, my young dragon, is an eye.
Yes, but what kind of eye?
An eye on a stick. I don't believe that is a favoured dish of your kind, but different strokes for different folks.
That was a low growl, and just put the eye stalk back in the bag.
As this exchange is happening, you suddenly all hear a commotion outside. Like people are running, people are screaming. And the words that you can hear are, "He's back. And he's going to kill them." There's like screams about a zombie. There's screams about someone wearing a crown. And you hear the High Lords mentioned.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Is that one of yours? Speaking to the wizard.
Don't believe it's one of ours.
I think Faust would take a look at Lord Van Winkle and would
Call me Rip.
he'd look at Mr. Van Winkle and would just kind of look at him and then make himself look very similar but less lordly, and stick his head outside and see what's going on.
Tenos will walk past Rip, put his hand on his shoulder and say, "No time like the present," to walk out the door. And while we're saying, "Come on, Ken."
And
Wilfred
Rip
also
say,
goes,
time. Yes, no time.
Wilfred would also walk out the room, but he'd be shaking his head like, "Where's the suspicion? They were suspicious of me, and I bloody killed an entire horde of zombies. They were casting all sorts of spells on me, and then this guy just walks in, and they're like, 'Yeah, you can join the party.' Bloody hell. Double standards."
Yeah, he wasn't spouting off about the Bible stuff though.
So
I
as
wasn't. You asked me about the bloody gods. I just gave my opinion on them.
and he also pointed out that he doesn't follow any. So as you stick your head out / step out, you can see that there's a definite kind of a bit of a panic. It's not like a stampede, but there are people running from one specific direction, and you keep hearing these repeated kind of words along the lines of, "Oh God, he's back," and "It's the High Lords. He's going to kill them."
I think I'd send my Raven off, Racket, to investigate and report back from a safe distance.
So you send off Racket, and Racket comes back. It's not far away. There's someone who looks undead, and 3 people who look very regal, backed into a corner. Lots of bystanders about.
I think Faust would relay the information. Do we know roughly how far away this is?
It's well within running distance, like 400 meters, 500 meters.
Okay.
As
Okay.
you are conveying this to everyone,
Yeah.
Captain Roche is looking at you all, particularly Wilfred, expectantly, with a kind of, "Well,
Yeah.
you guys are the good guys."
Wilfred would say, "We have to put this meeting on hold. back in a bit, and he'd run out the door.
Yeah, I think
Top of it.
given the urgency, I think Faust would drop his dimension door scroll.
You don't have that. If that's the same one you had earlier.
Ah, excellent. Thanks, you thieving bastards.
Sorry, Slick was sneaky and he took it when you
Oh,
died.
great. So it's not even with the party anymore.
Slicks
No.
took it.
Thieving bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes Slicks' job a lot. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Slicks has dimension door. Oh, he's going to do well.
And all the money.
Okay. I think I'd rustle around and go, where is it?
I mean,
now?
it's
Like
in-
that that
in running
thieving bastard! And then would start running.
Tenos would utter to Faust's feet. Those are the things you're looking for. Your feet.
I think I'd use mage hands and just look to clomp him around the side of the head.
Okay, so you have two choices. Would you go directly towards, would you be directly following where the crowd of people are going, or would you be looking to kind of spot where they're coming from? Given where your ravens have kind of scouted things out, would you look to kind of come in from the sides?
Wilfred would go directly to where the commotion is. He wouldn't go any roundabout ways. If he knows where it is, he'd run straight there directly.
Yeah, Faust would look to go fairly directly with a view of ideally hiding behind something large, or getting some elevation advantage.
So let me just quickly put you all on this map, and then you can decide who's going where. For now, where was it? I've lost the other token. For now, let's say you are. I'll tell you what. Let's use Octavia. So, as you approach this crowd, you get a feeling. As you get closer and closer to this, you get a feeling of kind of dread, like this feeling of, this isn't just someone has pulled out a rapier and is threatening people. Like something, you just get this feeling inside that something bad is going to happen. You don't know why you have this feeling, but there's like a sense of dread. And as you get closer, you see some people running away, but some people seem just frozen in fear. And some people are sitting down, babbling to themselves, rocking backwards and forwards. Whatever's here is having a serious effect on people. And as you turn around and turn the corner, you see in front of you a figure of a dwarf, but a dwarf that looks both wearing the most grand and fine and ornate armor you've ever seen, but also with the shambling and the exposed bone and rotting flesh of the undead that you've seen. And you've never seen someone with the stature of a dwarf look like they are this imposing and walking with such purpose before. But you are approaching and they have their back to you and they are pacing away from you. And let's put you on the map. As you enter the market square, this dwarf, as you get closer, seems very tall for a dwarf, but still has that unmistakable kind of dwarf stocky, strong build, and the armor is it's old, it's weathered, but you can tell underneath it it's the finest steel in dragon wing design motifs. And this seemingly undead thing is pacing forwards, and you recognize at the far end of the square the 3 High Lords who left the Hall of the Hammer terrified. They seem to be hemmed in at the other end. There are various other people around. There's some guards to the north and some other guards to the south. So there's some bystanders, and you recognise, Tenos would recognise Raquel, who is in the square. And I think you've all met Lester Spitwhistle as well, except for the new members of the party.
Oh yeah, good old Spitwell.
And these High Lords are terrified, and they are kind of almost sobbing. No, my king, we were only ever serving you and acting in your best interests. We sensed your will and we were carrying it out. And this creature, this dwarf, in this voice that kind of sends a chill when you hear it, says, "You were serving yourselves. You did not serve me. You did not serve this great country. Now you will die painfully." What would you all like to do?
Oh, I know
Not the hammer.
I reckon
know,
go back in time and just leave the fucking swords where they were.
I know what tenants will want to do, but I will save that for subject to what you guys do.
Well,
So this guy is presumably the hammer then, right?
yeah.
Which, I mean, he's supposed to. Well, we assumed that he was the good guy.
Oh, from this,
Maybe
it
they
sounds
just-
like he is.
What makes you think he's the hammer?
Well,
The hammer was a dragon.
yeah,
I think he's
Probably
transformed.
polymorphed. It's probably polymorphed into this dwarf thing.
but if he's talking to the High Lords saying you did your own will, the High Lords are saying we were following you. I was gonna attempt to bullshit him, but it feels like that's unlikely to work.
You could try it.
So we're thinking that the hammer is Athelian's brother, right?
Yeah. No. Godkiller is Athelian's brother. Hammer is the hammer just teamed up with Godkiller to take down Athelian. No motives. But I think the fact that we could use the fact that Athelian is coming to the hammer as a way to at least get his attention.
You could also show him the sword. That would get his attention, right?
I mean, we'll get to that.
I mean, first thing that Wilfred would do is he'd bless the other 3 party members.
I think in response, Faust would kind of be a little unsure. It's like, is this holy? Like, can I just like get this off me? And he'd play a little ditty.
It makes you hit things better.
He'd play a little ditty, being like, "Keep your holy shit to yourself."
I mean, the components are a sprinkling of holy water.
Yeah, so bardic inspiration for you.
Yeah. And he would also be standing at the front door.
Yeah, Tenos will kind of step into the where the square starts to open up, and
He'd let you guys take the lead as he's not too familiar with exactly everything that's going on, but he'll step in if anybody gets injured.
Um,
So as you step
What would-
forward, one other thing that you would notice, particularly Tenos and Faust, the guards, there's guards at the north and guards at the south, very reminiscent of the guards who were stationed at the two lines when you first entered the Hammer, where there were some guards who had a easy to miss, but definitely their painted purple eye on their armor, and looked very cool and a bit sexy.
Yeah.
And there were other guards who looked more straight edge, stick in the muds, but no extra
But
painted
AI
sigils.
But the AI made them also really sexy.
Yeah, in a less dirty sort of way, which
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the dirtiest is the best, right?
Of course. But yeah, you would notice that there are those two distinct sets of guards.
Tenos will yell towards the dwarf zombie that we see, deducting that we think it's the Hammer, and say, Hammer, your quarrel is not with these people, but with Sicilian.
So he turns and looks directly at you. I'd better get up a character sheet just in case. He turns to look directly at you, and I do not see you on your knees. Bow to your king. My quarrel is with anyone who is not loyal. These charlatans, these usurpers, they'll feel the pain of regret at not being faithful to me. Where do your loyalties lie?
We'll all feel regret when we're under Athelian's foot.
Thilian is dead. I felled him years ago. I hold the scars. I have been rotting because of it. Do you doubt my power, boy?
If you think Athelian is dead, you need only look at yourself. If you can come back, so can he.
You're playing a dangerous game.
I've no time for game.
And I have no time to suffer those three to live any longer. They're useless to everyone. I'll come back and deal with you later. And he takes some steps straight through this tent.
Could you assign me the token?
So I think Faust would silent image and just create like a wall directly in front of him. Very clearly not real, but hopefully enough to get his attention.
Okay, it does just that. He turns back to you. When I said you are playing a dangerous game, you seemed to not heed the meaning of my words. And he pulls out a greatsword. He's a dwarf who is wielding a two-handed sword with one hand very easily. And as he looks at you, you feel like the chill of fear starting to come over you. And he takes some steps back towards you. I will not suffer you to interrupt my business again. Make this quick. Those three will die.
I think Faust would say, whilst those three do not necessarily have the needs of the people of the Hammer to heart, they have prevented some bad things occurring here. They may
Yes, he's
require
right.
punishment.
Listen to him. We've prevented much, my lord, much evil. We've stood in defence of this city. Listen to him. He has wise counsel, my lord, my king.
They
That's very Blackadder.
they undoubtedly require education, perhaps punishment, but it's best to listen before acting. Athelion is on his way, and we need to stand united. All need to stand united.
As Faust finished saying that, Tenos will get the sword, still wrapped, but like, and just hold it to his side. But very clearly we are holding a large object that is wrapped up, just as it is.
It's. I think Faust would be like, "You okay with that, Tenos? Do you need a hand?" And we're just like, to give you like a little mage hand to just like prop it up at the end because it's a bit heavy.
Prop if you like. I think Tenos is fine.
You have piqued my interest. What proof have you that my fallen, vanquished foe rises again?
I don't think that little sketch is going to cut it.
I mean, I saw it the other day. It's on its way to the Hammer. I mean, just literally, if you walk west for a day, you'll see it.
Oh, this might be a bit risky. Can I offer the Hammer Dwarfkin's ring?
I mean, I think the easiest way to do it would be to show the sword, because then he'd know that the sword.
Yeah, I'm only just saying that because Dwarfkin was killed in Athelion's tomb, and that is those are his items. And if there's a trace of Athelion on Dwarfkin's possessions,
Okay.
that was my thought process. But yeah, the sword feels like the obvious nuclear answer, doesn't it?
As you offer up the ring, he steps towards you, and as he's walking towards you, the only threat that I have heard since my reawakening approaching this great city is that pitiful army that I will crush with one swoop of my wings. As he goes close to you, but then holds out his hand and the ring floats towards him. Fine design. Tell me, in what manner do you offer this as proof of your claims?
A comrade was wearing this ring when Ilmater deemed not to help when fighting Ithilien and the First Lady. Traces of their crime should surely linger.
When you mention the First Lady, he pauses, and he seems to ponder that for a second. Perhaps I will bring you into my council. You will not move. And he starts walking back towards the High Lords. You at this point you notice that Raquel has been looking quite nervous towards you. And give me an insight check. Now, insight check or perception check. It's up to you.
Neither are great.
Only Tenos.
Perception or insight?
I don't have a character sheet on Rep.
Oh, okay.
She wants to get down and dirty. Nice. Gotta tap that whilst you can.
She looks. So you both have noticed that you're both there. She looks nervous, and her eyes have been going between you and the hammer. You notice she has drawn a knife.
Tennis will kind of just gesture with his hand. Just.
She is ignoring you, and she is heading this way. For the purposes of making sure things happen in the correct order now, let's roll some initiative.
Oh.
So Wilfred wants to save these people, but he has no idea how.
Oh,
As-
come on.
Pretty sure this guy's a dragon, and I'm assuming it's dragon fear, which is why we're all scared. Oh God.
I use my because that just feels.
What happened to last week when you were rolling 20s?
That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
I don't have a
tired
character
from that.
for Rep. Yeah. It's not opening for some reason.
Is it opening?
You can just yell fireball.
Yeah, I can just repeatedly click the button for you. Just fireball, fireball, fireball.
Let me see if I can. Is it in D&D Beyond in our game?
Yeah.
Okay, my campaigns. Let's see. Hammerfall. Wilfred. View. Lord Ripter. Okay, let's have that to one side, and we can sort out modifiers and stuff. Holy shit! Plus 11 initiative.
He does have a trait.
I mean, yeah. Roll d20 plus 11.
What?
He actually started the fight 2 weeks ago.
In fairness, right, he's a time wizard.
I mean,
I see.
Okay, so
Still not first.
Yeah.
so let's get that over there. So he is going to. Oh, I need to have
It's Raquel.
Yeah, I need to add a turn in for her.
Come on, roll a 0.
Do a turn, and I will just do. Oh.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no. That doesn't bode well.
It might bode
But
really
who
well.
is she trying to kill though?
Oh, the hammer, surely. Or straight to foul.
Wouldn't look like it.
She's going to go there and ready an action. Varric is going to move. He's got a dash. He's going to get right up there in their faces.
So, what's our new friend Rip's opinion on his fellow High Lords?
So Rip is a lord rather than a high lord.
Oh, right, I see.
He don't give no shit about no High Lords.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Nah.
N-
He's got to be seen to be caring.
So
So
far away.
it is Rip's turn.
Okay.
Everyone else in the square seems very unsure as to what's going on. They seem to know that they are in danger, but they don't know what to do.
Okay, you know what? Just because I don't have my sheet, I'm gonna. Actually, can I just type it? I'm gonna cast momentary stasis. But wait, hold on. What's my range?
There's a plugin that lets you send stuff from D&D Beyond into Roll20.
Really?
Yeah. I still have it. No, I don't. It's like Beyond 20 or something like that.
Oh, never mind. I can't get into range for it. I thought I was just in range, but I'm not. Okay. You know what? Let's walk forward then.
Well, who are you trying to do it on?
Oh wait, yeah, I suppose I could do it on. That's actually a good point. I will. I'll cast it on Raquel.
Yeah, Tenos, you would be able to. You would know that Raquel is going to try and kill the hammer because she fancies you.
Whoa.
Would I'm guessing Tenos would have said something along the lines of stop her to give, because otherwise Rip isn't really going to know what's happening here. He's probably going to sense some kind of malice from her.
I mean, I could say, he's gonna try and stop him. I mean, in reality, Tenos would just run across there, but he's got a lousy one, so he's just distracted by like a bird or like looking at his hand.
In fairness, this is all happening at the same time. So by the
Yeah.
time Rip's run 30 feet, you'd have already been running. So I'm going to take he gauges his situation with his very high intellect. Is passive investigation a thing then? And passive insight? Never seen them before.
Yeah, they don't come up that much, but it's kind of just like passive insight. What do you get like without really concentrating, just from general sense of like face value how people are acting towards you and what they might be thinking. Passive investigation, kind of you're glancing around.
So I'm gonna, because he's got passive investigation of like 19 and a passive insight of 5. I'm gonna take it that he sees Raquel is up to no good, and it's just gonna it's just gonna stop her for the time being. But he can't see through his tent, can he? I just realised.
So these are market stall tents. So
Okay, cool.
there are kind of minor obstacles in the way that the hammer is just bashing through, but they're not tents with sides down the side.
Okay, fantastic. Then he's going to cast his momentary stasis on her. You can roll a Constitution. Easiest of the saving throws.
Raquel, con saving throw. She rolls a 9.
Oh, so she is frozen in a field of magical energy. Basically, time stops around her, and she is incapacitated until the end of my next turn,
Super.
or until she takes damage.
Ken is going. Is that your whole turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Ken is going to move 30 feet ahead and ready in action. But is going to say,
Father, should I eliminate him? Or should I restrain him?
If you have the choice, I would restrain. Let's focus on getting these people to safety first.
okay, Faust.
Okay. Faust, I think, would move 30 feet. And he would. What's the best way of doing this? Here we go. I'll use Thaumaturgy and would just shout, for your own safety, leave this place.
Okay. Some people start moving. Probably away from you. Those ones start moving. Lester is the quickest.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
These guards, though, go there. These guards will go there. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Wilfred.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of range anymore with this new character.
Mr. I'm good at undead.
Ah, are you not just gonna?
You
You're
think
just
this-
gonna one shot everybody?
Do you think this is a challenge rating of 2?
200.
I suppose gonna dash, following the way that the hammer went, so 60 feet. And then close enough. Sanctuary's 30 feet range.
You could use sanctuary on the hammer. Actually, does that stop him attacking?
No.
No. Stops him being attacked.
Might make him think you're
Yeah.
being friendly.
I mean, what I want to do with that is touch. I can't get close enough.
Ah, you fucking pervert.
I want to see if I can help him out with his undeadness.
His situation.
But he's too bloody far away. I guess no, I don't want to do that. I guess that's my turn.
Okay. Are you readying any actions or anything like that? Just in case?
Oh, I've used my action because I dashed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I can only bonus action, which is pretty much Sanctuary or a healing spell.
Hey, Tenos.
So I'm going to move to here. I'm going to ready an action to fire the great crossbow at the hammer if he goes to harm the High Lords or anyone in the square.
Oh no.
Okay. Raquel can't do anything. She's frozen in time. Possibly saved her life. The hammer is going to get his great sword, and he is standing in front of the first High Lord, who is High Lord Silas, who is kind of on his knees begging for his life. And Varric just says, "You have failed me. You have not been faithful. You could have woken me at any time, but you left me to linger. That is as big a betrayal as putting the blade in yourself." And the sword comes down and goes in at the neck, leaves at the hip, and slices him in two. Make your ready attack.
No.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Yeah.
The bolt, even though it's heavy, just dinks off his ornate armor. I mean, he barely notices it, but he just glances over his shoulder at you. So this one is definitely dead. And he moves up towards Lord Osric. Rip, you okay? So after this turn, after your turn, Raquel will be able to move again.
Okay. 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 He's going to ready an action. Which is another momentary stasis, but it's on the hammer. It's as soon as he raises his sword to strike.
Okay. So when he raises his sword to strike, before he makes a strike, you're going to have him make this con saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Did I move 30? I did. Okay.
So Cairn. So you said to Cairn, get the people to safety. Cairn will dash over here. And that is all he can do. In fact, no, he can go as far as there. And he will stand in front of her. Faust.
Can I just quickly add, he's a dwarf, isn't he?
He is a dwarf. Yeah.
He's tall.
So you've observed that he's a dwarf. He is demanding loyalty. That seems to be very important to him. His interest has been piqued by you mentioning the First Lady and this ring. And he's kind of said, yeah, wait there, I'll get to you. I just got to do this first. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. As part of my ready in action, could I shout to him, say a little bit loudly to him in Dwarvish something?
You could have done on your turn.
Okay. Never mind. Well, but as though it happens with the action.
Yeah, you can have him you shouting something as you're casting it as an action. Yeah.
Cool.
Faust, you're doing suggestion.
I'm not doing suggestion. I don't have any spell slots for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you used one on Wilfred, didn't you, earlier?
Yes. Can that work? Bring. Creature must be within 5 feet. Ugh. Fuck, I don't want to attack the guy really. Okay, let's do banishment on the High Lord.
This one?
Yes, the one that's about to get proper fucked.
Okay. If the target is native to the plane of drawn, the banished target harms demiplane. Target remains until the spell ends, and this lasts 1 minute and his concentration. It automatically fails that. He will fail everything in his current state. Yep.
Oh.
Boop.
And let's say I'll healing word the Varric as well, and I'll just shout, just slow, just listen. Things are in motion. You've been gone a long time. Just listen. And turn.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check. Okay, he doesn't strike down at the empty space. He does turn and face you. And he says, "You have my ear, but can any of you give me a reason why this person should not die?" I'm gonna leave it in initiative order in case anyone wants to do anything initiative-y. If no one does, then we can go into a bit of a dialogue until things kick off again, if they do.
Yeah, I think Faust would look at the one remaining High Lord and say, "These beings may not deserve mercy, but they deserve to be heard. They can help put things in place to help the people of this city. Athelion is on his way. The city needs to prepare. These individuals can assist with the preparations. After that, it is entirely your discretion.
I would like to add, killing is the easy way to do things. If you're truly as strong and wise as you claim to be, you would know that they are more effective ways of punishing and redeeming individuals than just offing them because it's the quickest route.
Rick would back that up. In Dwarvish, he'd say, "He's a beardless fool, and he's not an anvil worthy of your hammer."
Tenos will. I mean, it kind of feels like everyone has said something, so he feels like he has to say something now. Let them live, and the evidence of their sins be an example to others that may try to follow in their footsteps.
As people are saying things, Ken is still looking at Raquel.
My father loves you. I will take you to safety now.
And he will try to grapple her. And carry her away. And hide her.
I mean,
Hammer,
carry away or abduct.
everyone who said something, make me a persuasion check.
Okay, I want to use my inspiration.
Please do.
That's perception. Persuasion. I'm not very persuasive.
But you can see really well.
Oh,
I rolled a
crit.
17.
I will use mine as well.
Good thing you did.
Yep.
So that 15 means that he's giving you the time of day, and he's not going to kill you all immediately. He walks over to the last remaining High Lord that you can see, and he says, "Very well. Perhaps this beast could have some use alive. But we don't need all of him, do we?" Legs off at the knees.
Oh.
As you say, there must be a punishment, but I suppose there can be use if his tongue still works.
They call them High Lords, not Low Lords, right?
They are no lords of my making. He looks over at Rip. Out of tradition, you may style yourself as lord, out of respect for your house. He is a worm. Now, before I go and dispose of this army that is coming, you have my attention. Bear in mind, Faust, you have about 30 seconds before a High Lord pops back into existence.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Unless you want to keep casting.
No. I think as soon as he stops, or as soon as he stops to listen, I'd say kind of like click my fingers and I'll unbanish him. and say, I see that lord has no legs. I'm not sure whether he needs both of his arms. As for the, and then I think it would probably mage hand and just give him like a little slap. And I think it'd say, as for the army that's approaching, the army that's approaching is on our request. It is not here to attack. It is here to assist in defending the people of this town and the town itself. Athelion is on his way. Any help you can provide, or we can provide you, seems mutually agreeable.
If this army is here to assist my city, why do my forces line the walls? Why are my forces readying for a siege? If this is for my service, why are they on that side of my walls? Meanwhile, these guards are starting to slink away.
I got to have these spell slots left. I'd say these the lords, the high lords, the self-proclaimed high lords who have ran the city have allowed crime and greed to flow throughout the streets. The army does not operate for the good of the people, but for the good of those with the means to persuade them. We'd like to help put this right. It is the fault of these individuals, not of the city itself.
As you're speaking, he's walking back over to Lord Osric. And he's listening to everything you're saying. But then he turns to you and says, "Arms, you say?"
So he may need to write a letter.
With his...
but he doesn't need to.
With the hand that is not holding the sword, he grips this high lord's shoulder and just starts to squeeze. And you can hear the bones in his shoulder crunching. So, you all swear fealty to this great city, do you? You wish to see it prosper and safe. Am I to understand this correctly?
That is that is indeed the will of this group and my role as a lord of this city, sire.
He looks to each of you in turn. He gives Rip an approving, the slightest of nods, but an approval. What's everyone else say?
Not speaking for the group, but for myself, for my own part, it is only right and just to do what we can to assist those weaker than us. I kneel for no man, and they say, but for a dragon, and then would tip his head.
He gives you an approving nod. Wilfred, as you're considering this, you hear in your head a message from Rosh. He is sending you a message saying, "We can see you. My lads are on the roof. We can get the drop on him. Do we kill him?
He'll say back. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop him as he is. We'll attempt to defuse the situation before attempting a suicide mission.
Okay.
Thanos will say, we serve the greater good of the hammer and beyond, Anathel. This is bigger than us, and we have no time. And as he says that, he'll try and lift up the blade and drop it as if to resonate the sound of a heavy metal object on the floor.
Are you keeping the blade covered? I'm very happy for others to express an opinion to you on this, but it is ultimately your decision.
I will keep it covered, but I will say to the hammer, how do you think it is you've woken up?
A thief. A thief who stole my holy relic. A weapon that only I am worthy and powerful enough to wield. I feel its whole in me. When I retrieve it, I will rule everything.
That doesn't sound great, does it?
Probably keep it
Oh.
covered.
Are we the baddies?
I think. I don't think he's a goodie.
No. In the meanwhile, Rick is going to cast Dimension Door, but not in a normal way. Rick is Rip. No, Rick is not going to do anything. Rip is.
Let's say this is good.
I was gonna say, you taking control of Rick?
Like
Some
a
poor bullshit
puppeteer.
here.
Rip is going to cast Dimension Door and seal it within a bead using Arcane Abeyance. Sorry. So he's going to cast it into a little fragment of time, and it's going to look like a kind of whirling, swirling pearl.
Okay.
And he will walk over to Tenos, and he will say, he will hand it to him, while he also casts, he's going to touch him on the shoulder, and at that point cast Gift of Clarity.
Okay.
Which will give him a plus 1d8 on initiative.
Sub 9, great. Potentially.
And he's going to hand him. No, he's going to slip into his pocket the pearl, and he'll just say, "When the time's right, use it. It will get you out of here." And he's going to whisper, "It'll take you away. It'll take you where you want to go." In fact, and, then he's just going to just kneel down as though he is kneeling before his Lord the Dragon, or the Hammer, with his hand on Tenos' shoulder.
Okay. Okay. So, if this army is not to be crushed, as you say, the only enemy that is coming to this gates is the resurrected Athelion. Am I to take that correctly?
Yeah,
Correct.
as far as we're aware.
Then I shall consult with my ladies, find my stolen sword, and I will do what I have done before and slay the thing. And it being me who slays it, I will claim lordship over this whole country. But with more vigor this time, without treacherous puppets. And he starts. So go on.
I say it.
Feel free to have a sidebar.
So I mean, it doesn't feel like he's quite the good guy that we were hoping he was. He does feel a little bit.
Fucking told you. Fucking told you. Anyway,
I mean, he just wants to be in charge
of everything.
Of the entire country, world, whatever.
I mean,
this is Isildur not giving up the ring. This is what it is.
Yes.
I mean, what I will say is
Boromir. Steelmere.
you've spoken, you've talked him round a bit, so you know that's possible. He's told you what he plans to do.
I think this buys us like a minute to at least stop some immediate death or dismemberment. And if he maybe goes on, I don't think we need to parlay or convince him anymore. He's not, not like he's going to kind of join the party. I would beg the question: is he still worthy of the sword? It's probably powerful enough, but is he still worthy of it? Not willing to take that chance right now.
Yeah,
I mean, is it?
Go on. There you go.
Is it? So I mean, at some point he's gonna find the sword, right? It feels a lot better. It's like when your kids do something. Would you rather find out about the bad thing that they've done from your own investigations, or would you rather they just tell you and come clean? And if they tell you and come clean, things are going to go a lot better for them, right?
Well, I don't. I think either way, either we tell him, "Here's the sword. There you go," and then maybe he lets us live, but then he takes the sword, rules over Athel. The ladies, as far as we're aware, wanted us to have the sword. I think. Now, if that's true, and the ladies serve the hammer, or at least the hammer thinks the ladies serve him, and he goes to them and they're like, "Oh yeah, a sword." Nah, he's not going to be very happy about that as well. So maybe the ladies is the kind of tipping point in this.
Faust,
Or do we go and find
thinking about that,
Athelion
Faust, you would
Sorry.
know that you've got a good relationship with one of the ladies in particular, and you know from your interaction that what they do is like she still holds you in high regard, and her actions are influenced by that. So it's not the case that it'll be a kind of they don't seem subservient to anyone.
But the hammer getting the sword and using it to rule Athel doesn't seem the right balance for the ladies, right? That seems to be swaying too far in one direction, maybe for them.
They are all about balance.
I mean, in terms of balance, I mean, if you've got two like old gods or whatever you wish to call them in place, I mean, that feels pretty balanced to me, right? I mean, happy days.
Hear me out.
Maybe it's
Ithilien is the good guy. The hammer's the bad guy. Ithilien's just coming to kill the hammer.
I mean, we discussed it before. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's reasonably fair assumption that the hammer, Ithilien was marching somewhere, but maybe towards the hammer because he was trying to stop the hammer. It's well, the big thing there is the first lady living in Ithilien. I know it's a bit of a time loop, but she mentions a greater power. She doesn't necessarily say it's evil. She just says a greater power.
Yeah. Well, can we decide if we're letting him go or not, so I can try and help these injured people?
Oh, they can wait.
It's so. I mean, I could ask Mephistopheles' view of things.
I mean,
He's not always necessarily the best judge of character, though. If I'm being honest, he's a lot of things, but he's more fun and chaos than reliable information.
You're very welcome to ask him.
What do we reckon? So I think if the end goal is the hammer gets the sword, then we come clean and give him the sword. Well, not even come clean. We've got it for him. We've prepared everything.
yeah, I would. If he gets that sword, there's no getting it off him.
Okay, but what do we do with the sword then?
I think we have a Captain Planet style. We all end up using the sword as one group and come together, and it just works. No, absolutely. I mean, how do we use it? Don't know. But I still beg the question: is he actually worthy of it?
Not something from Rip here, more just from a previous discussion. No one has tried to talk to Ithilien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The group that left the dungeon that was Ithilien didn't realise that he had been woken up when they left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They could have sat down, had some beers, said, "Buddy."
Maybe Mephistopheles can shed some light on it.
Yeah, I think a bit of intel from Mephistopheles. You know, how true are the stories? Is the hammer something to be worried about?
So, Mephistopheles would tell you. He would say, don't ask me how I know this. But he's gone up against Ithilien before with the sword, and in a much less state of decay. And he still didn't come off great. I wouldn't want to put money on who comes out on top if he just goes off and tries to fuck the bastard.
I think I'd ask Mephistopheles' views on who's got the best interests of the people of Athel at heart.
What would he say? He would say best for the people is real freedom. That means no Athelion and no hammer. That means people free to do whatever the fuck they want. Some would say I'm an agent of that. Some call it chaos. I call it freedom. People talk about cutting the head off the snake. Or there's more than one fucking snake. Cut the heads off both of the big bastards. So turning into a Billy Butcher here by accident. Sorry.
Nice.
I say
So
fucking
basically, use the sword to kill the hammer, and then use the sword to kill Athelion. Gotcha.
I think whoever comes out on top is not going to be at their best form after that fight.
I mean,
We'll have the power of friendship, though. You're right there.
The hammer, as you're thinking about this, the hammer is beginning to concentrate a bit and then start changing somewhat.
I think do we give him the sword? He's going to end up with it eventually.
He looks
No, we
ready
don't
to
give him
take
the
off.
sword.
Okay.
If we give him the sword, and then he tries to kill us because of some weird reason, for whatever reason, we're dead.
We'll call it the thief. I think not. I'd take my chances.
I mean, as it is,
All of Couchy's work to nothing.
Yeah.
as far as dragons go, it doesn't look like a particularly goody two shoes dragon.
It's meant to invoke that he's, reasonably decomposed.
Yeah, it looks a bit raggedy.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's pretty much undead.
Rick's
what-
still on one knee, hand on tennis. Kind of still bowed slightly. He'll take a bigger bow as as the hammer goes to fly off. Fully bow his head and nudge Tenos too. And just say, bow.
That's just kind of grunts.
Rip would further say, is this not dragon hierarchy?
I haven't seen it. Is he a dragon or a dwarf? I don't know.
I think he's both.
Okay, I think if we're resolute in not giving him the sword, then I reckon we let him go. Then, right?
I think we need to at least try and figure out how to use it
We
before
need to
giving
know
it to
more
him.
about it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when I looked at the text before, the comprehend languages didn't do anything because Mephistopheles wasn't present. Maybe with him present, it'll do something, but it doesn't. It specifically doesn't do glyphs. But maybe our wizard friend may know something. But then again, do we really want to show this random wizard that's just turned up this world-ending sword?
I mean,
You're so suspicious of new party members that are objectively on your team.
People in Faust comes in, we're like, oh, hi, Faust, how you doing? Oh.
Forge, it said Tao Chi is the heart of the blade as well. He's the key to it. So Tao Chi was part of the party, and we are the party. So I think that has to be some kind of. All right, maybe the blade will serve or is true to Tao Chi's original goal, and that was with us as a group,
Ooh.
Yeah.
or something like that.
Ooh, here's a sorry.
Yeah, so just one thing, part of Rip's backstory is he was really feeling the effects of the convergence, and the effects of there being so many being Tauchis appearing, so like ripples in time, and fractures in time. So time is normally quite consistent. He is a time wizard, and he studies it and tries to manipulate it, and then these great big waves and ripples are happening all over. So it's been a bit discombobulating for him. I think at this point, probably proximity to the sword would be weirding him out a bit. He might be sensing something.
I mean, that's, if it helps. I mean, I think Forge said there are more Chaotis out there, and whether we have to go around Ghostbusters style, sucking them into the blade, to then complete the convergence, and then the blade is complete, and then only at that point will we be able to, or be worthy. Maybe being worthy is going after the other Chaotis.
It certainly would be Rip's purpose to try and get to the bottom of the. So he's shown up more because he was tracking the group, and he kind of let on to that slightly what he said before, but I won't say any more about that.
So as you're considering things, the hammer, fully dragon form, starts beating his wings. The High Lords, one with an arm that's basically hanging off, and one with no legs below the knees, are more or less unconscious. And he beats his wings, and as he's kind of hovering in the air, he turns to you all and says,
I go to the ladies and then to find the thief. There'll be no war with that army today that approaches the gates. I will come and find you, and I'll allow you to counsel me on how to deal with the rabble.
and he flies away.
What direction does he fly?
He is flying towards the ladies.
Okay. Their poor hut.
Yeah. So once he's out of sight, I would like to head over to these guys, and I'm assuming he's been dead for a minute.
This guy, it's. I'm gonna say that, like, for the purposes of like spells and stuff like that, it's a short enough time that things would be effective, but he is very much in two pieces.
Can I cast mending?
Yeah.
High Lord,
Can
if
he's mending first?
Look, it doesn't matter what the pieces are still useful.
Well, I mean, the kind of
Has to
with
have
this with this chronology, wizard, kind of the shape of these spells is meant to be about manipulating the time. So mending would be about trying to reconstruct something from time, from a fragment
it's
of time.
basically, I need to know what spell to use. Do I need to use a level 3 spell or a level 5 spell to bring it back to life?
So I will say mending will work in stitching the flesh together and the right organs to the right organs.
Excellent.
Alright, I'll do a mending and a revivify.
Well, no, I'll do the render because I think the whole point with Rip, his mending isn't just normal mending stuff. It'll be to kind of
You can bring
reverse
people back to
time.
life with mending.
No. To reverse
Okay.
time. So instead of just trying to stitch items together, he's trying to pull back the timeline across what's
Okay.
happened. So you wouldn't
I'll let you do the
bring someone
mending
back to life, because that's different. That's divine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep, gotcha.
High Lord Silas is alive. You have 3 High Lords alive. 2 with limited use of limbs. High Lord Silas is very, very grateful for you, for you helping him.
Basically say you might want to make yourselves scarce, as I can't, say that if he does come back, you will survive the next attack.
Oh, it feels like a bad idea.
Yes,
My guy's all about saving everybody.
He starts taking off his robes. Please protect him. I know he thinks we betrayed him, but please, he does not have his former strength. I know he looks strong, but he does not have his former strength. Please don't let him do anything rash. He will founder, and I cannot bear for him to be gone. Please.
Why do you why do you worship him as such?
He is my king. I am loyal. He does not see it, but I am loyal to him. At all costs, he must be kept alive.
You didn't do his work for his subjects. You merely sat and sang to him.
We did more than you could ever know. The point is, we stopped him dying. That was
Stopped
all
him
we
from
cared
anything.
about.
What of the other High Lords?
We all had the same purpose. Keep the hammer alive. No one is as important as the hammer.
Are the other High Lords still alive, or?
He looks to either side of him. They don't seem conscious.
I thought there was 5. Wasn't there like 5 of you?
There were only 3.
Okay.
There were more in the past. Now there are only 3 of us left. Please, you must protect him. And Rosh comes up, having seen the dragon fly off. So, what of the forces on the wall? And what of the army coming to the gates?
Well, we're in a bit of a pickle.
You have always gotten us out of pickles before. I trust you. Except in his actual voice, which I didn't do then. But that's where we're going to call it.
Ooh.
Bloody hell.
Sorry, is it possible if you were to try to talk to the sword or talk to Chowder using message? Is that something that may work?
You can try anything.
Okay, I'll pop something together.
Did the hammer take Dorkin's ring, or did he give it back to Tenor?
He looked at it. He gave it back when you mentioned the First Lady.
And does the ring have any stats after Forge blew some dust onto it?
It does. You might want some kind of wizard to check it out.
Ooh.
I'm very good at magical items.
Do you believe that?
So
Doesn't recognise a bloody beholder stalk there, does he?
So yeah, it became an interesting social encounter, but I have no doubt that there will be more full combat encounters to throw at your new characters, particularly when new character sheet is in Roll20 and working and all of that. But yeah, I increasingly high stakes decisions to be made.
Out of interest, we almost certainly would have died, right, if we went up against the hammer.
It would have been a very tough encounter. you've been up against tough encounters before. I mean, Dwarfkin nearly survived his encounter with the thing that the First Lady summoned. You killed a Death Knight. You've been through some pretty tough scrapes and come out on top. I'm not saying it wouldn't have been tough, but anything's survivable.
Quick question: Can Riptor have a legendary magic item?
No.
Well, that might be the answer. Okay, can he have a very rare legendary item? No, wait, very rare magic item.
Why would
What,
he
what are
have
you trying
this?
to get?
Because he's a lord and he can afford it.
Plot armor.
Um, maybe. Yeah, more that. I mean, he's been a wizard for a long time and a lord for a substantial amount of time. I think as things have passed through, if he had an opportunity to buy something, he would have. More of a researcher than a venturer as much. He hasn't been out adventuring, except for research gain means. He wouldn't have found it in the field, he would have purchased it for a large sum of money.
So very rare magic items have to be available for purchase, which means someone has to have gone and found them. And with a city that's rife with organized crime and bandits on the road, I think that anything that would be very rare would be even more rare in these times.
Okay.
Well, what item are you trying to get?
Send me a message with what kind of thing you were thinking, and we'll see what would be realistic along those lines for you to have in the current environment, but also given your means.
To be honest, the very rare magic item. I just realised it's the second item I wanted is only uncommon, so it doesn't actually matter. The very rare one comes down to a kind of plot item that I will message you about.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think that would be good that he has it already, but it might be something that might tie in nicely later.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm not saying yes, but I'm intrigued. Send me a message and we'll have a think.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love a barrier tattoo, but yeah, I don't.
Anyone gets a real tattoo that's D&D themed, they can have that. Cool. Yeah. So I'll send around a quick summary, but I think there's some important decisions to be made, and also some judgments of character. You've come across many of the people that the Hammer is interested in. You might have some insight into how they might react to his demands. But yeah, we will pick this up next week. But again, if there's ideas about what you might want to do, given the information you have, that would be very useful. Cool. Are we all good for next week?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Jim, I assume that Sarah's not gone into labour. Just see what it's out. She's just like disappeared off to the hospital 3 hours ago.
I haven't heard anything. She's kind of poked in, dropped off a bag of minstrels, No, she's alright, but I suppose I better go check on her.
Baby upstairs, you hear extra crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the hospital's not, fortunately, it's only about 15, maybe 10 minutes drive, depending on how I drive. It's quite close. It's definitely quicker than an ambulance.
And they've got good Wi-Fi there, right?
Yeah, I'm already on the Wi-Fi automatically when I go there. So yeah, it's good to go. Park on the ramp and everything.
Awesome.
Oh. But
Well-
yes, if that does develop, I will also keep you guys abreast.
Excellent.
Cool.
Good
Right.
stuff. In that case,
Right.
I look forward to seeing how you guys get out of this one next week.
Thank you kindly.
So am I.
All right.
I have no idea.
Take it easy.
Good stuff. Catch you guys.
Uh,
Bye.
Bye.